What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and this video we got to talk about Lost Records, Bloom, and Rage. I know I had a lot of people in the Life is Strange community that said, Alex, when are you going to cover this game? Well, now. I was actually planning on, ramping it up as we got closer. Sadly, we have a little bit of negative news to start out with, which is a delay of part 2 of this game. But we got a FAQ. They went over a lot of stuff on their website. We're going to break it down, and I am getting pretty excited even with that negative news. So let's start there, though. Part 2 has now been pushed. So part 1, unaffected, still coming out in February, but part 2 has now been moved from March to April. More specifically, April 15th. Now, they do say that they're going to have things to kind of hold us over in between part 1 and part 2, and I kind of believe that, and I also think, all right, they're doing it for polish. They're saying they need extra polish for that part 2. They've been going through a lot. There's strikes going on at Don't Not. I don't know how it affects this game. It's always seemed like it doesn't, but I don't know, like your company's striking, maybe that affects morale or something, but there's some stuff going on there. But I will say it flashes me back to when like the Telltales of the world, and I mean Don't Not actually always did pretty okay, at least with Life is Strange 1. Life is Strange 1 was always a breath of fresh air at how they handled things. Life is Strange 2 I think was not very good in terms of like the rollout and when those episodes came out. Telltale of course had massive issues with the huge delays of like Wolf Among Us and stuff, so you hate to see it in a way, but also I'll give them the time they need, and it's not that much. It's 2 months apart, right? So it used to only be a month, and that was probably better, but now it's 2, and it's not that big of a deal. Okay, let's go over, in their own words, everything you need to know about Lost Records, Bloom and Rage, the FAQ. So general information. What is Lost Records? Lost Records is a single-player narrative adventure game set over 2 timelines following 4 high school girls who form lasting friendships over the summer, only to face a mysterious event that will change them forever. The game will explore themes of identity, rebellion, and friendship. They talk about the release date, February 1st for Tape 1, April 15th for Tape 2, what platforms. It's on PC, on Steam, PS5, and then Series S and X. The game will not be backwards compatible with PS4 or older consoles. That's kind of a given nowadays this far in. Is the game multiplayer? No. How long is the game? I'm very glad they actually said this. Roughly 10 to 12 hours of playtime, depending on your play style and exploration. Can I save my progress? The game uses automatic saves and checkpoints regularly. There are no manual saves. So just pausing right there really quickly. Some obvious stuff, like who really asks about saves nowadays? But no, honestly, it was funny. Okay, I have like a notebook where I keep like ideas and my schedule, physical schedule. And I was actually going to talk about how long that I thought the game was going to be this weekend. I actually wrote that down. I was going to do it, but I'm glad they answered it. Very Life is Strange 1 and 2, right? Very much like a kind of classic Don't Nod thing where, I mean, and you have to think too, right? 2 parts. So 5 to 6 hours, 5 to 6 hours versus, like I just replayed Life is Strange 1 for the 10-year anniversary. If you really go deep, into that game, which I know many probably fans have, it's roughly, 2 to 3 hours. It can be closer to 3, maybe even a little bit more if you do everything, right? So you can get, in that 12, even 15-hour range by completely doing all of Life is Strange 1, and 2 is pretty similar as well, right? So I'm happy with that length of time. We're going to go actually over the price. The price, I think, kind of reflects the length, and I'm very happy with that as well. So all's good there. That was actually kind of funny because I was wondering, and I was going to make a video discussing it, and then they just like out and said it, which is good. So they talk about why it's been delayed. Again, pretty much just for that extra polish. They talk about themes and story content, that it'll explore deep and emotional themes. While the narrative is crafted with care and sensitivity, some scenes may evoke strong emotions. We recommend checking out our dedicated page here if you're concerned. And they go, I've seen this actually be passed around. The content warnings do not seem, I don't want to discount like trigger type stuff and all that jazz, but they don't seem all that bad. I mean, we'll see. There could be some very like deeply like resonated type stuff that doesn't seem, that's going to affect people on the surface than it actually does when the game comes out. So, I'm not trying to diminish it or anything because it absolutely can happen, but you can check that out. I'm not going to go over that in this video. Then they say, is there replayability or multiple endings? And they say, yes, your choices in both the past and present will change the outcome of both timelines. Then they talk about the specs. You guys can look at that at your own if you want to. I'm probably going to play it on PlayStation, but there's the stuff for PC and whatnot. It will support keyboard and mouse. You don't need a controller. Does the game have accessibility features? Yes. Does the game support ultra-wide monitors or other PC-specific features. It'll come with DLSS FSR support, but no ultra-wide support. Does it have photo mode? Yes, that was a big one that I saw. Okay, now this is another one, the release information and pre-orders. Will digital pre-orders be available? No, you can actually not pre-order this game, which is kind of odd. I'll talk about it later. What's the game's price? It is, $40 US, obviously everything else, with a launch discount of 10%. This includes both parts, tape 1 and tape 2. You cannot buy them separately. You have to buy the full game. And then it seems like right now it's just digital. Will there be a physical edition of the game? In partnership with Maximum Entertainment, a physical PS5 edition will be available in the summer of 2025. Pre-order now from participating retailers, and then they talk about bug support and a couple other things that are not as important or not something that I need to talk about here. So a couple big things there. Again, we already talked about the length. In terms of the price, again, I think that kind of matches it. No pre-orders. Now look, I am, as I've gotten older, and maybe companies don't like hearing me say this, especially ones that sometimes work with me, but I am not a fan of pre-orders. I mean, they burned me historically. It's something that I've kind of spoken out against for the last, probably since the PS3 era, since like 2011, 2012. Look, when I get games, even right now, even with the vast amount of games that I try to buy to cover on these channels, I try to buy them like the night before. So like maybe they fall under pre-orders, but sometimes I'm kind of buying them like live on the spot, right? So for me, I've just never been a fan. At the same time, it's weird. It's actually maybe a bit hypocritical for me to even say it, because it's like, well, I don't support pre-orders and I don't really do it myself. You can do whatever you want, by the way. When I say I don't support them, like I don't do them. I don't go out of my way to do them, but you can do whatever. It feels like just a natural thing that all games have that. Also, while I am a fan of that 10%, right? So that's like $4. So it'll be $36, US. But the thing I was going to say, when it launches, yes, but also how long? I wonder, you know what I mean? Is it like a week thing? Is it 2? Because they don't actually say that, right? Like how long that's going to last, other than like a launch discount. Buying it separately, that makes sense. You have to buy it, all in one thing. That checks out for me. The physical, versus digital, you might know, you might not know. I mean, I have a whole third channel that talks about preservation. I do retrospectives on all these old games. I actually am doing one on Life is Strange as well. I'm big into that. If I have the choice and like everything's even, I do choose physical over digital. I think it's very important. So I don't like hearing that, but I also do like hearing that they at least have something secured, right? Only on PS5. That tends to happen. Sometimes these companies like pick one of the consoles and the other one doesn't get it, kind of like a limited run type thing. So I don't love it, but I also, at least they're doing something, right? And that's pretty much it. So we're getting closer. We know the price. We know you can't buy each part separately. We know a lot of stuff actually at this point now about the game. But hey, I'm hoping for the best. I really, really am. Like I said, I mean, I was actually planning like this weekend to start coverage of this game, and I'll be doing a lot on it over the next month. Actually, the next 3 months until we get part 2. So I'll be here covering it if you guys are interested in that. But good for them to post this and just kind of almost start the discussion, right? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.